Wouldn't be the first time the British Hurricane have had to go to a 5th map to win out a series, so I can definitely still see that happening. Hanamura, they've had some success on it. Wouldn't surprise me if they come out with a win here, but Orgless and Hungry, they've been showing up big today.
What can I say, Legday, my boy? Welcome to the dark side. The side of the traitor ship. This is where we jump ship in the 3rd and 4th map. Because it is very, very hard to write Hurricane off after last week. Their 3-2 against Angry Titans was sublime. They've had, again, those shiny moments of goodness in the last 2 maps. We've got to see it come out on Hanamura. This is their map pick. This is one of the maps, and we said at halftime, we said in our analysis kind of leading into today, halftime is going to change everything because both of these teams like the alternate maps. Orgless and Hungry want to go for Horizon Lunar Colony. Hurricane wanted to go towards Hanamura. So between the two, you always kind of hope that the team who picked the map would win it. I mean, the first week we said, yeah,
doesn't always happen.
In the first week we said a lot, and we dropped this very quickly. We were like, well, they picked this map. These guys should very easily come out on top, but then they get completely rolled. So I'm hoping for Hurricane's sake that actually they can win this one out and force it all the way through to a Game 5. Although, it's that flexibility piece. We have to see more flexibility coming out of them if they're going to win this map.
Well, when they made it to Oasis, they did 2-0 it quite dominantly against Angry Titans last week, so they make it to that 5th game. They might have what they need to be able to pull out with the series win, but you don't really want to be dropping maps like this. You're trying to catch up. I mean, if you're dropping maps like this against Orgless and Hungry, hypothetically now, you would be struggling against a team like Giganti, who you know you have to face.
I like the Orgless defense coming out here as well, the comp that they've gone for. Now, it's very easy to scream when you're playing something like Hanamura, shield tank, shield tank,
yep.
Shield tank. What they've actually gone for here is just sticking to the same kind of thing that's worked for them so far today. The biggest question I have really is around Shaxx on Tracer. We've already said he's looked very good on Tracer. We saw that on the last couple of maps. Once it comes to him being forced to pick other things, because Hanamura isn't the best map for a Tracer, there's a few places you can run around to in the first point, but it's essentially one big square. People are generally going to know where you are, so it is very hard to get a flank onto the aggressing side.
Interesting pickup. The diverse hero pool of Happy Cool has produced himself a Widowmaker. So nice. How will that pop off into this fight? Is it something they were predicting Facilities Farah for, or is it just a pick they know Happy can perform well on?
I think when you've got to mix things up like this, and you know that high gate that you have here as a Widow can be an excellent position to hold, you want to give Happy time to show what he's made of, I think. Again, not too sure why it's Happy. Like, you look towards one of the DPS here, but going for this triple DPS setup, they are really looking to hit this one hard.
But the team's been split up at the moment because half of them were on the point, half of them were at the gate, and they were isolated by the tank line of Orgless and Hungry. So Kib still trying to cut through at the moment. He does have to try and contest with a D.Va who doesn't have boosters to follow him at the moment. You've got Facility, Immortal, and Epps on the point with Finzi, so it's forced them away from the choke point, but they're still trying to fight this one as Immortal's going to bring Tonic back into the fray with the Resurrection. A lot of fights happening on the courtyard, and Tonic immediately getting back to work with a double kill onto Fusions and Crusade.
It cannot be understated just how important that res was. It was 2 supports and Facility on Soldier standing there on the point. You've got a Widow watching you. You've got 2 tanks mowing you down. That was a very risky Hail Mary res coming out of Immortal, I felt. But the fact he got it off meant Tonic managed to get the bubble down, block any kind of impact from Happy coming through, and managed to, of course, bring down 2. That completely reset the fight for them. Now Vinci is back in the mix, so it's kind of more of a reset. They're playing very grouped up together here, and I like this from Orgless.
Well, Shaxx is taking down Craggy again. The Tracer duels are really going in his favor at the moment as Tonic gets onto Happy Cool. So Widowmaker, maybe not the most effective pick right now. He has been chunking people, but I haven't seen his face a lot in that kill feed as of yet. Tonic onto Bucket as well. So Kib, he's got that Dragon Blade available. He popped off on Numbani, but he's going to have a lot of defensive ultimates to go through on the side of Orgless and Hungry.
6 ultimates available for Orgless and Hungry by the halfway mark on this point. If they can keep on rolling this ultimate economy round, this is going to be so good for them. On the other side, though, Hurricane, they have just switched Happy over, saying, okay, this triple DPS isn't really working. Let's go back to what we're used to. They've got 3, 4 ultimates to play with here. Almost 5 if you include Fusions. There's the first one. Pulse Bomb misses.
And now they're going to move around to the right-hand side, try and take this sound barrier. With the Dragon Blade is going to be available. Facility is down to Happy Cool. The Transcendence is going to run out just as the blade gets popped. Who's he going to cut down as he dives into the cut box? But no one to be found at the moment. That's a map 1 blade, Kib. Where are your map 2 blades coming out? The Transcendence going to reset his health, keep him alive as he jumps back onto the point. Finzi gets a D-Mech on the Happy Cool. Self-destruct onto Crusade, and Shaxx finds Bucket as well. Orgless and Hungry, they're not to be faltered on this map 3.
Well, the logo may be a bowl of soup, but they are drinking only the most premium of brands right now, because whatever they've been taking today is full of all the essential nutrients to bring out this victory. Hurricane floundering once again. Went through all of their aggressive ults there and made nothing work out for them. Admittedly, Orgless and Hungry had to go through 5 of their own ults. They still got that ultimate from the Soldier to bring out as well if they want to. I just think it looks really scrappy for Hurricane. They've got to do something magical, and they've got to do it right now.
Well, Vigility immediately takes out Fusions with those Helix rockets, and Craggy looking onto the back line with that Pulse Bomb, but he's retreated back out for now. They know they can't move in without this pick. 45 seconds remaining. Every second is going to count for British Hurricane if they're going to progress further on, because if they end this without capping a single point, that looks terrible for them, and Orgless and Hungry can end the series right now, assuming they can hold on to this. But Vigility, with that in his pocket, Tac Visor at the moment, going to fall back, dodges out the Pulse Bomb. Luckily, he gets away from the damage, but Craggy's going back in. Kip, he's taken out, so no more second DPS on the side of British Hurricane as Craggy's having to fall back. All he can do is watch as the rest of his team is murdered, and he's trying to jump back in, but he knows the fight's lost. 10 seconds. This is going to be sloppy as hell if British Hurricane can pull this one back.
And then Craggy managed to get staggered out here as well. They've got 5 members potentially to push in here, and they're facing off against nearly 4 ultimates, Tridd.
They're having to play the world's most dangerous game of Red Rover again. They're running through all the barrages. They can't get through. Orgless and Hungry don't allow a single capture from British Hurricane.
What I am most impressed by is Vince's decision-making on this D.Va. The really nice thing that you have with D.Va, amongst the many other reasons, all the damage she's got and the mobility, please nerf for Blizzard. Either way you look at it in her case, the great thing about it is she essentially functions as both a protector of your backline and she can become a dive threat if she needs to be. It depends entirely where she chooses to commit the boosters. In this case, what Finzi keeps on doing is using the boosters to get back towards Vigility, drop that defense matrix and prevent any damage from bringing that soldier down. This is what we've seen a few teams really flounder on in the last couple of weeks, but today, Finzi, he is on point.
Absolutely, and what I would have paid credit to the entire Orgless and Hungry is they've watched the VODs when the triple DPS has been run on this position. They know what happens. You tuck round to the right-hand side, you dive onto the point, and you force them to move out of their cover, and then all of a sudden, the surprise Widowmaker starts popping you to the back of the head. They knew about it. They were prepared for it. They didn't overcommit. They knew that there was going to be half the team on that point, a couple of members back at the gate. So what do the tanks do? They don't go to the point. They concede the percentage and dive onto the gate itself and shut off the reinforcements and ultimately the more vulnerable picks on the side of Hurricane. It was a great answer to what we've seen run with this triple DPS composition on point A offense.
And even when Hurricane managed to take over the point, because it was only the supports and the soldier holding it down whilst everyone else was trying to deal with that Widow, once they came back on, we saw what happened. Tonic dropped in that res. Big props to Immortal. That was a very much so a game-saving res for them. If he didn't get that off, I expected both the supports and the soldiers to go down. That would have been the end of it. But I've got to say, coordination from Orgless and Hungry, these guys are on it today. Super impressive stuff. And we spoke about before the broadcast, we said, these guys are a middle-of-the-pack team. They are sat in the middle of the group. They can go either way. We're not sure if they get top 8 based on the next couple of performances. With how they performed today so far, even with these 2 map wins, that goes a long way to saying we deserve to be at the top here. And this is the team we were used to seeing at #1 spot in Pit. This is what I've been waiting to see for the last 3 weeks.
At this point in time, you've got to remember, Des, British Hurricane have lost the series. They can only tie here, which means they will never be able to get the right amount of points to get themselves to forcing out that 5th map. So it's over. The series is over.
No, if they hold to 0 here, Hurricane, then it still go to it as well. They still win off that alone.
It's risky. We'll have to see what happens with that one. But Bok again taken out by Shax. Eps also finding Kib, so Vigility as well, with the Genji of his own this time around, playing dive into British Hurricane. They've got enough kills. It's all about the stall from Happy Cool. He's going to have to jump out of here as he gets sprayed down by Tracer. 4 members on the point. No resistance from British Hurricane, apart from the lone Tracer of Craggy to stall it out. It's not enough. 3-0, Orgless and Hungry.
Is this the same Hurricane team that we've been speaking and banging on about now for the last 2 or 3 weeks as being super impressive? Or are these imposters? Because I don't know what team we are seeing today, but this is not the Hurricane we are used to seeing at all.
It's so hard to say because we have so finite data on all of the teams because we've only had 2 weeks of play. If you were really cynical and you just looked at results, you go, oh, Hurricane are getting worse and worse and worse. But they're not playing against the same teams, right? These teams are changing. They're constantly growing. They're constantly developing themselves and their strategies. It's hard to say who's at fault. Is it Orgless and Hungry that are suddenly like super team caliber? Or is it British Hurricane who have faltered a little bit? Des, I would love to let you speak a little bit, but we're going to go to a quick commercial break and we're going to bring you map 4 when we come back.
Hurricane here.
Contenders Europe. We're ready to jump into the final map. So we already know the winner of the series. It is, of course, Orgless and Hungary. And, well, no one would have actually said that coming into this game, but Orgless and Hungary, they've shown they're not to be messed around with.
I mean, me and Harry did. Just saying.
But, you know, I can't take your word because you're so treacherous when it comes to your predictions. You always jump ship.
On, man.
I mean, I've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, but you've been jumping ship more than those pirates, mate.
What can I say, man? Sometimes you've got to join the winning side. In this case, we picked lucky, aren't we? Good for that one. Now, I've got to say, I've actually just said a second ago, I'm really, really impressed with how Orgless and Hungary are playing today. Now they've got to prove that they can do it on the final bastion of hope for Hurricane. Junkertown is their map. These are the guys who are convinced they've got this map down to a T, that teams should not be able to beat them on it. We thought that about this whole series. It's currently 3-0 Orgless and Hungary. Can they crush that final last bit of pride that Hurricane are holding on to this week?
It's going to be hard to say coming into this final map. You know, it does go in Hurricane's favor. They are the ones who pick it. They are the ones who seem quite dominant on this map alone. But Orgless and Hungary, with the 3-0 at the moment, is going to be playing on the mentality of the rest of this team. So obviously, British Hurricane, when you're down, you start to feel it, especially if you're kind of coming in here maybe with the confidence to say you should win this matchup.
Should.
On paper, a lot of people would look at this and go, yes. But a lot can happen in the 10 days since we've seen these teams. And you got to feel for a team like Hurricane because guess who they have to play next?
Giganti.
And that's not, they don't even have a week of prep time for that. They have 3 days to prepare for that match.
I almost want to hope that for Hurricane it wasn't the case where they spent this thinking, we're not worried too much about Orgless, we're going to focus on that Giganti matchup because we don't have a lot of prep time. And now they've been caught completely out of sorts and find themselves at a loss already. This could literally be the final nail in the coffin here, because let's not forget, those map difference wins can really stack up towards the end of the season. I don't think this loss today will be enough to really upset Hurricane being near the top of the table, but it definitely puts Orgless and Hungary in a better spot to maybe even leapfrog, that's what I was after.
Well, we were saying they were middle of the pack. They are now, with this win, going to go to the top of the pack. Nice tag by HappyCool, but it's not going to result in any kills just yet. They're conceding a lot of ground, Orgless and Hungary. They're giving British Hurricane a lot of breathing room, but not where it counts at the moment. The Shax with a Widowmaker of his own. Gets the dink, but not the kill, as Happy takes out Immortal. Finzi on the fusion. Oh. There's the answer from Shax. He takes out HappyCool on the Widowmaker, so he's the better Widow as of now. But Sombra going to dash away. Can't get the shot. There's Discord Orb on her as well, but Craggy takes out Facility on that Junkrat as he answers in kind against Bok 1. Or Bockit. And now Shaq's going to go up high. Can't find a tag just yet. It's Craggy onto Tonic, so he's dealt with the tank line, but no ground's really being made by British Hurricane until now.
I'll say this game has started off very slow and not really much happening, and then suddenly a bunch of guys die and Hurricane is still pushing. Really weird and slow start coming through to this one. But I got to say, Shax, we mentioned him last week, we mentioned him earlier on today, Tracer one trick, need to see more from him. Impressive sort of performance to very begin with there, had the ultimate come up pretty quickly for him on the Widowmaker, and that's exactly why. Another pick onto Happy.
Yep, he's going to take Happy out now for the second time as Shax has a nice position. Dink onto Crusade. He'll take out the Lucio. Fusion, Primal Raging, out to Bokin as well, so both the supports down. Shax showing that he can play another hero other than Tracer and playing it extremely well as he dinks him through the air. No Goomba Stomp coming out from Fusions today.
4 Fusions is a headshot, man. We need to take some spinning lessons, I think, on this Winston, my friend, to be able to dodge more of those out. Shax is single-handedly holding this point down for his team right now.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's single-handedly, but he's definitely doing the work and he's getting the damage out. Happy needs to find an answer to it, and Immortal taking him out this guy might do it. Shax did go incredibly low there, but not
the one we
want.
want.
Finished off. And finally, answered in kind as Kip finds Epps as well. HappyCool will get run down by Finzi with the rocket boosters, but he's the last person on the point at the moment. So when Diva goes down, the progress can continue. Stage 2 for British Hurricane.
Great idea, shut down Shax and everything is fine, because he got both supports, he got the enemy Widowmaker and almost dealt with the Sombra as well on that first point defense. But now it's gone. Hurricane, sigh of relief, they're into the second point. Again, one of those points that generally is quite easy to push at the attacking side. And
now Shax has switched over to the Tracer, so off of the Widowmaker for now. Things will have a little bit more fun on this lineup if he can just dance around a little bit more. So Happy, he's gone on to Diva himself, so no Widows in Stage 2, doesn't have quite the line of sight that you have in Stage 1, so it makes a lot more sense for them to be able to play this. Now, going to be skirmishing on the top side of the map. Happy going to dance away into that sound barrier coming out from Crusade. Primal Rage is locking him in the corner, but there's a lot of attention being drawn over to him by British Hurricane, so Tonic will finally go down, but Shaxx is being completely ignored, and he just sprays down Bucket before he can even react to it. The resurrection from Immortal brings Tonic back to the advantage, definitely on the side of Orgless and Hungry. There's a pause coming out. I believe it was because Bucket disconnected.
I was going to say, he was sat there just hovering in complete and utter zen. Like, that's one of those kind of slow-mo films where you've got someone just stood there and all the action explosions are happening around them. They're just stood there staring at the camera. Felt like one of those moments.
Just a little bit traumatized by the experience.
Maybe just stood there like, not again, guys. However, a good first point push for Hurricane, you got to say, showing a bit of that mojo we believed they had in the first place. Second point, haven't really seen too much of the comment so far, was all about the Widowmakers on that first point. Though.
Absolutely, but one of the things I actually like about this is the fact that we see Kib's Sombra. He did it last time on Junkertown. It paid them dividends in the entire fight. The Shaxx still being unanswered. A boot will delay the inevitable, but he's still going to go down as Orgless and Hungry wipe out British Hurricane early on to this stage 2.
Disconnect not going to be the most favourable thing for Hurricane, but they still have that trans to play with. So if they want to push back in here, they're going full dive. It's pretty much the Hurricane way this series, it feels like, trying to hold the point out as best they can.
Okay, so they're up on that high ground again, or at least Tonic is hiding around the corner. Going to be the early warning system, the canary in the mines, if you will. And they know they can smell that lethal methane coming at them. So instead they're going to go the complete opposite way, going underneath in fact. But it just plays into giving this tank line options to dive down onto Hurricane. And they're not certain. They changed up again. Tonic misses the jump I think he was going for, but they're wrapping around underneath. And Facility, with that tack visor and the damage boost, could shred through British Hurricane if he's left to his own devices. They're still trying to find their entry point there. This is a really bad game of hide and seek at the moment. The Shaxx is just trying to find out where they are. They know where they are. Transcendence up high. They're really trying to take the high ground position and not give any option. Pulse Bomb doesn't manage to hit anyone. It swings straight past Craggy. There's the tack visor being used. No kill just yet, but the Discord Orb onto the Prime Rage. Winston should be enough. Flicks around for Craggy. Now he's getting the attention from Winston. Going to burn through him with the help of Tonic. And there's another retreat coming out for British Hurricane. I don't know if they can keep this push up.
Great stagger onto Fusions and onto Bucket there as well. This is going to work great in the favour of Orgless and Hungry. This second point, where's Hurricane gone? The one we saw on the first point, they could crack through Shaxx, but they cannot crack through the team. Now they are holding out in the middle of this second point.
1 minute 30 on the clock for British Hurricane. They've taken themselves off of Kib's Sombra, put him back onto the Genji. He was able to cut through, build on that ultimate relatively quickly. So he's got that Dragon Blade. I'm hoping it's going to be hard Nippon steel and not the noodles you would find in a bowl of Orgless and Hungry.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Not bad. Not bad. Maybe as hard as the noodles when they're not cooked.
Maybe that could be the option, but with the Dragon Blade in his pocket, and Shaxx already cleaning up Bucket, Crusade, and Kib, Tonic is just shut down another push from British Hurricane, and they're playing outside of their spawn room now, Des.
This is actually insane what we're seeing coming out of Orgless and Hungry, playing this aggressive onto the aggression coming from Hurricane. It's the ultimate counter. Someone plays full dive, what are you going to do? Just run at them. Don't give them the chance to dive. Make them dive away. There's a such thing as diving away from a fight. Basically what we're seeing out of Hurricane now. They've got 4 ultimates on side. This is probably going to be their final big push. They've got to find a good position and make this work.
40 seconds, 4 ultimates available in the 4th map. A lot of 4s coming out here at the moment, but they need to be able to get themselves a win here in this fight. So Tonic already having to dance away from this fight. Can't stay in front of him. Shaxx is behind them still, and they're not paying him much attention at the moment as the sound barrier going to trigger him to go ahead. Kib cuts through F. Fusions finds Facility. This is the fight for British Hurricane. They've got the advantage. There we go. He cuts down Finzi as well. So that's multiple kills onto the notches of Kib's blade, and that should win him the fight and be able to force out stage 3 of Junkertown.
Well, they had to make it work in the final fight, and admittedly, again, all that was required was Kib's blade, and we spoke about this on the previous map, saying once he gets his blades online, that can be the big fight winner for this team. However, we may see Orgless and Hungry go for one final fight. They've got the ultimates to hold out here. Here they come.
Well, Kib going up high. Transcendence Craggy already finds Immortal. 1 support down. There comes the self-destruct into the air. Transcendence shouldn't be able to stop that, but no one dies. Facility takes down Kib. Tonic onto Bucket. The kills are starting to go in Orgless and Hungry's favor as the self-destruct goes into the air for Happy. Finds Finzi when he's out of his mech after Craggy got the D-mech. So now they're on the point. Shaxx still trying to stall it out, but they're just buying more time as Facility runs into his death. He's going to get taken out. The bubble gives him a little bit of protection as Immortal comes in for reinforcements. He's still going to be solo, so they're being drip-fed out onto the point. Inevitably, it goes over to the Hurricane.
Goes down to almost the last man, but Hurricane still managed to push through. Lots of ults being burnt by both sides means none are going to be online for this final point. Crusade almost has that sound barrier, though. There's going to be a good few points because it takes quite a while to push through this 3rd and final point. I don't know. It feels scrappy still from Hurricane. A little bit better towards the end. Got to see him end strong.
Well, they're taking the high ground already. Orgless and Hungry want to be able to play around the piston, play around the gear, and have that advantage to be able to constantly have an angle onto British Hurricane. Shax and Craggy going at it. They've tanked out for Happy instead. So now Shax is going to have to deal with Finzi. So Diva and Tracer combat happening on the ground. Onto Craggy again. He's got that Orb of Harmony to keep him sustained as the monkeys are going up high onto that gear to try and dislodge everyone. But Shax still here. He keeps them to be forced away, becomes straight back. No one's pushed him back permanently. Pulse Bomb onto the back line, doesn't find the support. There's a sound barrier to keep the rest of them alive. Pulse Bomb nearly up, throw and a miss for Shaq. Finally, Bucket shuts him down with Zenyatta. Kid's got another blade in his pocket. We'll probably save that for the next fight as they're doing wonders at the moment. Immortal gonna ride the lightning, get shut down. This Craggy finished off the kill. They forced them all the way back into their spawn room. With 15 seconds left and overtime in play and ultimates in their pocket, British Hurricane, one final fight should seal the deal or end it for them on Junkertown.
There's still a few ults available for Orgless though as well. The team are back in full strength. This is their final hold, Tridd.
And there they go, straight up into the air with the Dragon Blade. Dives straight onto Facility, shuts down the DPS option. The Transcendence is there to sustain him. Coalescence can't quite reach the team. Only one kill with the Blade. Might have been enough for British Hurricane as they're still on the payload. It's being contested at the moment as Tonic jumped straight up and straight down. Finzi without a mech. Finally, without a life for Happy Cool. And there's the attack visor from Facilities. Come back into the fray. Craggy takes down Tonic after he Goomba stomps Bucket. Shax with the pulse on to Kid, but Facility can't find an entrance here. He's being bopped around by Fusions and not allowed it. Finally, he gets some internal bleeding, will die to the pummels to the head as Happy Cool takes down Shax. It's just Finzi at the moment. Gonna need those reinforcements coming out. This could be a repeat of Ilios where he gets stalled after stalled. Sound barrier, answered with a sound barrier of their own. Still fighting on this payload. That's it, they've demeched Finzi. Tonic's back into the fight, but he's gonna go down very quickly to Bucket, who's now switched over to the soldiers. They're running triple DPS just to force this out. Shax, last man standing, finish him and kill him quickly. Don't allow the reinforcements to come through. With 0 seconds on the clock, British Hurricane complete Junkertown.
They'll feel at least pretty good about being able to show they can still push these points out and win fights quite consistently. Pretty good final fight from them, I gotta say. A little bit worrying it feels on the second stage. And now we get to see what Orgless and Hungry are capable of. It's very easy when you play maps like this to look at a team go 3-0 and go, right, well, they rolled through that one, it's going to be an easy win. And then it comes completely undone on the other side, and they do exactly the same.
That was definitely not an easy win for British Hurricane. That was a hard-fought battle on the defensive side of Orgless and Hungry, and came very close to ultimately ending British Hurricane about halfway through stage 1. And even on stage 2, they still struggled as well. Stage 3, obviously, the cleanest part of the map that they went through. But still, strong resistance is coming out from Orgless and Hungry. And British Hurricane, they picked this map not only for offense, but also for defense. So they need to show up on this side as well.
Yeah, Fusion chooses to stick out here on the Orisa, and they go for this very big full hold using the Junkrat and the Orisa, as well as, of course, the Roadhog coming through. A nice change up for them. This is the kind of thing we spoke about. Need to see them try a few different things and, I don't know, break away from this mold of full dive, because it seems every single time they play full dive, Orgless and Hungry have got their number. They know exactly what to expect. They know how to react, where everyone needs to play to be able to deal with it, and they just always have an answer. So I think playing something different like this may throw Orgless and Hungry slightly off. See how they do on the first push.
Well, British Hurricane are going to be running the ball and chain. Orisa Roadhog as that combination. They put Craggy onto the Widowmaker rather than Happy this time, so hopefully a little bit more accurate and more... Well, there wasn't an issue of accuracy. It was just not finding the picks necessarily on the side of Happy, so Craggy maybe more effective at that. Kib onto the Junkrat, so they've really shifted up a lot of their tank and DPS options for what is essentially their final hold of this map.
Here to see if Facility chooses to match Craggy on the Widow. One of those cases, again, where we see there's a Widowmaker on one side, you come back and you change out your pick just to try and match it. Instead, maybe it looks like Shaq's going to go for it this time round. So again, swapping back off once more on the Tracer, straight back over to the Widow.
Well, Epps is on that Bastion at the moment, so I didn't expect the support to be playing that. So they're going to run ball and chain, but this time they've got a Bastion already being tagged out by Craggy, and the shield's been broken down straight away, so they're trying to reset, get in position. They're going to be able to burn through it a lot faster than what Hurricane can do. It's not a complete pirate ship at the moment, but it's going to start putting the wind in their sails and forcing out Facility with the pick on the Bucket, so running that double sniper as well. Very unconventional composition, but it's what we've seen before on Junkertown, and this is what we expect to see. Tonic, Shax, for the third time, for the fourth time, Shax has picked up another kill with Widowmaker. It's the bait and switch. Epps is the distraction. He is the big pinata you want to hit, but all of a sudden, it's Shax. He's just going to come around and smack you while you're not paying attention.
Imagine rolling half a pirate ship, double sniper, one support, and bowling over British Hurricane that quickly. Maybe the change-up wasn't the smartest idea because Orgless and Hungry had their strategy. They probably knew Hurricane were going to look towards Junkertown. They're the only team picking this map at the moment, and it worked wonders.
And British Hurricane have gone back to their old faithful, which is dive.
Oh boy.
So we've got Kib on the Genji and Craggy on the Tracer, and they've got Bucket still keeping on the Arna, so we saw that on Numbani at least, but we're going to keep it back at it again. So they've dived onto the back line, just trying to put pressure. They did find Epps straight away, but Epps wasn't the problem. He was just the bait. Shax takes out Fusions. They still haven't found that Widowmaker just yet. Keeping herself alive, getting a lot of hassle. Guns down, Happy outside the mech. Here comes Kib to get in his face, but he's going to retreat to the rest of his team. 32 HP, can't find those final shurikens to shut him down, and he'll heal up nicely as he changes back over to the Tracer now.
I think this is a wise idea now, so going themselves towards the full dive here. Still got Immortal on the Mercy. He will probably use an aggressive Valkyrie here and then back straight off it, going to something like the Zenyatta or the Lucio again. Maybe, sorry, more towards the Lucio, I think. Of course, with Epps playing Zen, you can't have two Zens on the team anymore.
No, we've removed hero limit
a long time ago.
No hero limit was removed ages ago, and now we're on to Craggy. He's taking out Shaq. Dragonblade available for Kib, so he's going to be diving onto the back line of Orgless and Hungry yet again with that. He's mixed reception on these blades, not going to lie to you, Des, and hopefully he's bringing out some big ones for the grand finale. There we go, that's the Valkyrie being popped. Craggy finds Tonic, Facility onto Fusions, again onto Pocket, so we're missing crucial members again. Shax with the D-Mech, they've crippled the side of British Hurricane at the moment, and finally, Immortal going to bring Tonic back just to rub salt in the wounds. They are rolling over British Hurricane, and they're going to force out the third stage of this map.
Shax and Facility there as a duo just literally tore Hurricane apart, stormed through them, brought down who they wanted, when they wanted, and well, the aggressive ult coming out of Immortal was more than enough to push them the way through. Curious to see if he chooses to stay on it here or if he changes off on something like the Lucio. Looks like he's going to stick with it for the most part because that damage buff onto these guys, why the hell not?
You may as well at this point. They've seemed to be just incredible micro advantage against British Hurricane, which is not something I would expect to be saying if we were looking at this week one. But now, here comes Kib with that Dragon Blade, going to dive onto the back line, not going to commit with the blade just yet. He does have to be very conscious of Facility because he's sitting on a blade of his own. Ultimates everywhere, but who's going to pull the trigger first? Because at the moment, British Hurricane just trying to deal up with the stragglers who've somehow woven themselves into the back line. Want to clear them out before having a unified defense, which is always going to be forward-facing.
Gotta be careful of how far forward they're pushing here as well. Shax being dropped by Craggy pretty quickly just off camera. That's a big threat going down for them because we've seen what Shax can do when he gets into the backline and causes absolute havoc with Facility. You take away one edge of this sword, it's not really a double-edged sword anymore. It can't really just run through your team anymore. Have to wait for him to come back online and push again. Orgless being held pretty well here though, just inside the third point.
Healing desperately needed. There is a nano boost. Didn't see who that went on to. He's on to Kib at the moment with that Dragon Blade. Only finds Immortal at the moment, not going to finish anyone off, but he's left alone with Ed. Dashes through to grab the health pack. That should be the difference maker, but Facility retreats back, guards his comrade, and takes down Kib.
That's the kind of stuff you want from your DPS and your tanks, is to come back and protect the supports. We saw Finty doing it earlier. Now Facility was the one on support defense duty, and now they can push forward.
And safely resurrect Shax as well, so they bring back their second DPS. They've left the payload for the moment. I think one of them's been called back. He said, guys, payload, please.
Someone, please, yeah.
Someone, please move me. And it's a lot like you see in competitive queue, but they're jumping onto the payload, allowing themselves with the three members. They just wanted to kind of see if they could get anything else more from that offensive win. And now Craggy and Shax going at it again. The Dragon Blade still being held onto by Facility, waiting for the right opportunity to drop it. Now, they would have seen Crusade use that Transcendence, so they know it's not available for them. Dives into the back line, nearly finds it, goes straight onto Crusade, but Shax is the one who picks it up. They're so in sync at the moment. Takes out Bucket, no more support. Fusions as well, no more kills. Facility popping off, and he's showing how you use a Genji Blade on Junkertown.
And Kib at the end just tunes in with a little kill onto Shax, like, guys, I'm helping. Come on, guys, we've all been wiped out. What's going on? Facility stepping up on this Genji. One final fight, and they've got 3 minutes in the bank.
Taken down, he takes down Craggy again. Deflects the sleep dart, the BM, the bionic grenade keeps him alive a little bit longer, but he's trapped the supports in a room. Everyone's folding onto them, and there's nothing they can do about it. Happy Confusions trying to stall this out with ultimates and just raw tank material, but they're still falling down. Finzy takes out Happy Core, Facility finally shuts down Fusions. Kib is back, pops the Dragon Blade, he's got a Discord all on him. He's just gonna get melted by Shax. What is going on? They're just going to keep throwing bodies at the point. It's like Junkertown from last time. It's like Ilios. But guess what? Orgless and Hungry are in control, and they're going to 4-0 British Hurricane.
Almost.
Almost, but you pretty much should call it a 4-0 at this point.
You may as well with the way this is playing out. Tied it at 3-3 with an extra 3 minutes almost in the time bank, 2 minutes. We'll both give it to ourselves there for that slip up.
Yeah.
2 minutes 20 extra in the time bank coming through. One thing I think is worth touching on. We've spoken a lot about Shax. Week 1, we were like, he is the heroic DPS everyone's talking about. This guy is big. No one was really speaking about poor Facility. And in this map, especially on the Genji, this guy is everywhere. He's back in his own support line, saving his supports from the enemy Genji. He's diving into their backline, deflecting sleep grenades, killing both of... Grenades? Sleep darts, killing both of the supports, going forward, killing tanks, and then coming back again to kill the aggressors onto his support line. This guy is literally everywhere, and he tore British Hurricane apart in that last fight. No response from Hurricane. Again, a bit frazzled almost, I think, and it's purely down to the aggression coming out of Shax and Facility. Their aggression and coordination has been almost sublime here. Really good stuff from Orgless and Hungry today.
They're going to set up again. They're going to put Shax back onto the Widowmaker, so having fun with that yet again. Going with the ball and chain on the defense. Epsk still going to be on Zenyatta, keeping Immortal on Mercy. This is what they've appeared to be favoring doing over the Lucio on maps like this. Setting up a little bit further forward this time around, but Orgless and Hungry, they're prepared to fall back if they need to. Now, they're keeping Happy on the Widowmaker. Kib is going to go, so they're running the triple DPS yet again. Having the Craggy and Kib combo of Tracer and Sombra to get onto the back line was Happy just pop shots them from a distance, and they're trying to sneak in, trying to find a good angle to get behind this team.
Let's not forget, triple DPS didn't work out super well for these guys last time. Gonna try again, a bit of a different pick coming through. Once again, Sip going onto the Sombra. Not 100% sold on attack all the time. It's good for going in for the chip damage, but the chances of you bringing someone down on a map this open, very, very rare, because as soon as you try and get anywhere near them, you've immediately got the Widow just keeping an eye out for you.
They're going very slow like they did last time. Finally, Kib's going to retreat. Craggy finally joins the fight, but Epps has already found fusions, and Happy takes out Facility. Resurrection might not be safe for Immortal. He's going to go for it anyway. No pop shot coming out. Shax takes out Happy and Craggy. With that much time left, they were being very patient, trying to get that one good push, and it just was not good enough for British Hurricane. So Orgless and Hungry, unless there's a massive stall and a turnaround coming up from British Hurricane, they're going to shut them down right here, but the contention's coming on at the moment. Happy gets taken out by Shax. That is what we needed to see from the side of Orgless and Hungry. Craggy goes down mid-air, so Shax on this Widowmaker, he's popping up. Another one as he finds Crusade.
This
DJ Khaled, another, shuts him down, and Facility finds Kib. That should be the end of the fight. Overtime ticks down, and that's not very far for Orgless and Hungry to push.
How do you stop this man? Shax there, like, okay. One way to stop him, dive onto him. Didn't work, got res, popped back up, immediately got down 2, brought down Happy, brought down 2 in midair. This guy on the first point last time round pretty much held them out for an extra minute and a half they should have had. In that case there, the number of picks he's getting off, even on Happy who's jumping around trying to get the pick onto him, Shax is just by far a little bit quicker on the trigger. The guy has definitely allayed any fears that he was pretty much a Tracer one-trick with that kind of play. Really impressed to see coming out of the whole team today. I've said it so many times, this is the Orgless and Hungry I expected to see in week 1.
They're putting Craggy back onto the Widowmaker forward. It's going to put Kib on the Junkrat, and Happycool goes back to the Roadhog. Crusade this time wants some resurrections of his own with the Mercy, and I imagine Bucket will go on to Zenyatta. There's a lot of picks at the moment on Orgless and Hungry. They're probably not going to run it. They're not going to go troll mode.
Yeah,
they're going to mix it up. They're going to do what they did last time.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
They're going to use the Bastion, the double sniper. They're going to use the bait and switch and take your head off with Shax and Facility.
This is the kind of thing you would log into in like competitive and just be like, not this again. But if you had the Orgless and Hungry guys on your team playing in competitive, you would be one happy boy looking at this, because their play last time around was excellent. Look how far Hurricane got. They have not got far to push at all. This could be over very quickly.
Well, let's find out. 3 minutes 17 on the clock for a fractional distance they need to travel. It's all looking like it's coming up Orgless and Hungry, but this is going to be one huge, valiant defense from British Hurricane if they are able to shut this down and tie this map. Because at the moment, Shax just off the side, not found an angle. The shield needs to be broken down first.
Like an assassin hit squad with these two just roaming around looking for picks.
Well, yeah, this is exactly what happened for Craggy and Kib last game, though. They hid around this corner, they tried to find the right angle. Been spotted out, takes a shot from Craggy. They're all going to play around this corner. They've pretty much let it get halfway onto the payload before they can test it. That's a little bit too much ground to give up. Now, having sniper duels, long range line of sight. Facility with that Hanzo looking up for him. Takes the shot, misses, goes for a second one. Doesn't matter. Shax is the one who takes his head off, so he's going to be winning the beer after the show. The Happy Call finally shuts down Facility with a hook and a pop to the head of his own. Shax just trying to take him down, but it's Epps finally doing work. So the bait and switch, not really a bait. The Pinata kicks back. And Orgless and Hungry, 4-0 British Hurricane.
Somebody wake me up. This is a nightmare for Hurricane. This is the last thing they would have expected looking at the games they were coming into would be to lose 4-0 to Orgless and Hungry. But those guys said it so many times today. They have stepped up big time. And this is a really, really big statement from them saying, we don't care who you are. We are coming to the table to play, and we want to be at the top of that table when Week 5 rolls around.
Well, they've certainly put themselves in a good position. They've taken down one of the top dog teams we were pegging, which we might have to reevaluate based on how the rest of the week's competitions go. But it's an incredibly strong performance coming out from Orgless and Hungry, and I really hope they put the prep work in and carry this on to their second match this week. Of course, we are in Super Week, so we're going to have 2 matches this week, and I can't wait to see what they bring out on the next fixture.
They've got to warm up, though. They've got to fix these issues they were having today. The coordination a bit off, dives a bit weird. The tanks especially, going in either solo or being far away from the healers enough that there was no support for them. A bit scrappy. And I'd like to see them tighten things up a little bit again. Go back to playing the same kind of style we see other teams do, which is just play as a unit. If things are looking a bit shaky and scrappy, just pull back, go back to basics, essentially. Today, trying to be a bit too clever, I think, with the dive, and while it bit them in the backside.
Well, we're going to jump to a quick break, have a look at some highlights, and then we'll bring you some analysis.